I'm recording now. So one thing that I was going to tell all of you at the beginning is we are recording the session now. We have started recording this session. We're going to share a recording of it, a link to the recording, and also the presentation, the schedules, and any the link to our website with all of our families and students. So at the end of the presentation, links and all of that will go out maybe by tomorrow morning. So just know that that is coming your way. All the links, all of the information, and the recording.
Can you check the waiting room just super quick? I wonder if some people are in there. I've gotten a couple of emails.
Okay. Keith, I don't think that the waiting room is enabled.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I think we're open. I don't think that there is a waiting room right now. I thought I put a waiting room on here, but everyone got in without a waiting room. So I think we're no waiting room. I don't see a message that says anyone in the waiting room. Are you getting messages that are people in there?
Yes, but I'll email those people directly. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I'm just not for sure. Sorry, participants, invite.
We have another question regarding electives. Is this something students can choose to opt out of?
Electives are required. They're part of our curriculum, but it's not going to be like regular electives when we are in-person learning. It's going to be a lot of independent work that is fun. Electives are designed to be fun. They're not designed to be extra work. It's really so that kids have something to look forward to, some creative outlet, something fun in the day. So the electives, I don't think it's going to be an issue for students wanting to opt out of fun stuff. But if it becomes an issue with you keeping up with work, you know, you can reach out to us and let us know individually. Okay, so I'm going to move on from the schedule and excuse me. And we're going to talk about attendance. So attendance is going to be taken two different ways. Every day, students have their live sessions that they need to attend, and we will be taking attendance for each of their classes. So that's science, math, English history. They need to attend all the sessions. We are also taking attendance through work completed. So if students complete work, then they get attendance for, so there's two words that have been thrown around and maybe you've heard them, synchronous and asynchronous work. Synchronous work is work done together online. So that's our online Zoom classes where we're showing up together to work together. That's synchronous. And then asynchronous is independent work. And there'll be both. And so basically they're graded on both, or they're marked attendance for both. So they're marked present if they show up to the live sessions and they also need to do work. So hopefully that makes sense. If a student misses a daily live class, their teacher will reach out with a call or an email to touch base and see what's going on. If a student misses 3 classes in a row or more, we're creating a situation that is really difficult to recover from. It's going to be very hard to catch up once you get behind. And that's the name of the game in middle school and high school and moving forward is being present and doing the work and not getting behind, because it is a slippery slope when you get behind. Trying to catch up becomes just this huge hurdle and it really holds kids back. And so if we can keep kids present and doing the work, we can get through this distance learning. But if kids start, dropping off and not being present or not doing the work, we really need to make a plan to get them caught up and sooner rather than later. So after 3 days of a student not showing up, we're going to intervene. The teacher will be calling every day saying, or emailing, like maybe they email the first day, they call the second day, the third day that the kid doesn't show, the office is going to call and make a plan. And ultimately, if a student doesn't show up for a series of days and it gets extreme and there's no response and nobody's picking up the phone or answering back our emails, this could end up being a situation where we need to have somebody come out to the house and knock on the door and say, hey, what's going on? Where's the kid? Where's our student? So we really don't want to get there. We don't want that. We know this is a difficult situation, but communication is going to be key. So if, you know, your internet drops out and you can't be there, or, you know, you are sick, it happens, right? Let us know, and we can make a plan. But if you don't communicate with us, we're going to communicate with you. I hope that, does that make sense? Did any of my fellow teachers want to chime in? Okay.
I do want to say something really quick about questions in the chat group. We're not ignoring you. I think we're going to save them till the end to save us time and get through this presentation, and then we'll take questions. So you guys can keep typing them in there, but don't think we're ignoring you, because we're just not going to answer them right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that is about attendance. Moving on, office hours and tutoring. As you saw on the schedule, after lunch, we have PE and elective, and then we have a huge block of time that we have set aside for office hours and tutoring for each teacher. So the way that we design. Keith, is this your slide?
Sorry, Ms. Kramer. It is. I was just going to say, so again, these are not mandatory, but we're going to be on here every day. We're not only available during our small time slots, we're available for like that whole time. If you specifically need help with something, students, or if you want to schedule a parent meeting, families, or if we need to work specifically with someone on something, we will try to do it during these times. We've gotten questions I got some questions from some students today. Is it like, do I have to go to all of the tutoring sessions tomorrow? And my personal answer is, you might want to try the links and make sure that they work. Try checking in with your teachers during each of those blocks, but it is not required. And yeah, in the future, it won't be required that you log on during those live sessions every single day. I think that we'll have a clear idea of how this works as the year goes on. But this is, again, time when we are available, and it would be ideal to have student meetings or parent meetings during this time. And yeah, if you would like to set a specific appointment, rather than just dropping in, it would be really awesome if you could send us an email and we can figure out a specific time within this block to meet with you. So I think that's what we're thinking for office hours and tutoring.
Yeah, and if a student needs more time with a teacher than the 20 minutes that we've scheduled every day, that 20 minutes is when we're going to be live waiting in Zoom. But if a student needs to work with us for an hour and a half during that time, they can work with one teacher for that time. It's just during that 20 minutes, each teacher every day is guaranteed to be on Zoom, and you can get them. But again, like Mr. Trump said, if you need more time with one teacher, that's time every day that you could work with us, or parents, if you need to reach out to us, please, you can reach out during the day, and that's time that will be available and not teaching a class. So you know that we're available to talk. Okay. Mrs. Packard?
Okay, expectations. We're all on the same page as far as expectations and what we expect from our students through our Zoom live face-to-face meetings. So I made this fun little Bitmoji over there to the left that you guys can see. The really important thing to remember when we go to our expectations is school rules apply. Same school rules apply on a computer as they would if we're face-to-face on campus with each other. So I'm going to run through that little quick Bitmoji really quick. Wake up early and be on time. So yeah, it's convenient that we're at home, and hey, we might want to roll out of bed in our pajamas and just have sleep in our highs and come to our meetings. But we really, really are hoping that, you guys are getting up early, you're having your breakfast like you normally would, and you're going to be attentive and ready to learn when you're coming to our meetings. Have your Chromebook fully charged. That's super important. We would hate to have you guys lose important information, the kids, and their computer die in the middle of a session. Mute your microphone all the time as soon as they get on. That's another important thing. We don't want to have talking over each other. Participate with your ideas. And we know that a lot of our students, they don't particularly like communicating. They have the chat option as well, at least in my class, in which they'll be able to just chat their response when we turn on the chat for them. We want them to come to sessions with their questions, maybe from the lesson from the previous day. Maybe they were thinking or they got stumped on something. That's why we're here. We want to help them. Just make sure they have their questions, maybe just jot them down on a notebook or something like that. We want them to always try their best, obviously. And then working from home, we have distractions. We have little babies or siblings or loud noises going on. It's really important to hopefully they can get into an area in which they are quiet, or it's a quiet area and they can focus. Cell phones, if they have their cell phones, it would be great if they can turn them on silent just like they do in the classroom. Be respectful, and then hopefully they can look at their teacher and focus and get the best from their little 20-30 minute lesson that they possibly can. So those are just some of our quick expectations, and we'll be going over these with our students tomorrow as well.
Okay. Okay, so for communication, Mr. Kramer, this is your area of expertise. Mr. Kramer?
Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay? So communication is probably going to be a lot tougher well, maybe it'll be easier, I don't know. But the idea is that we want to communicate with you a lot, probably so much that you're going to hate us with all the emails and phone calls. And we hope that's not the case. We hope that you love it. We plan to do a weekly report to you from Aries about missing assignments and grades and progress, so that way you get an idea. We have been kind of talking about whether we should do it every other week, just so that way you're not overwhelmed with emails. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when the school sends me a phone message, a text, an email, I kind of tune them all out. Sometimes I get like 10 a day and I'm like, oh, it's too many. I don't want to read all of them. So we'll play that by ear, but our plan right now is to kind of every Friday send you a report out, so that way you know how your student is doing. We encourage all of you to just, I think email is the easiest way to get a hold of us during the day. We do all have phones and we will be there. So if we're not in class, if we're not in a Zoom session, I'm sure we'll answer the phone, or if you leave a voicemail, that'll also be totally awesome.
Okay.
Next slide. Yeah.
All right. Moving
Let's
on.
go to the next one.
Okay, Aries, yes.
So there's an Aries sends a report out every Friday we're thinking about. How the report looks like is you'll get an email. It's a PDF, and at the top of it will say your student's name, and then there'll be a little line. There'll be a column of assignments that are listed as missing. If there's nothing missing, it'll just say a nice no missing assignments, and you can be like, woohoo, good job. And then at the very bottom of the report has their overall grade, and it'll give a summary. If a teacher uses categories or a weighted grade, it'll give you each individual category and then a total grade at the bottom, so you could always see what they have as a grade. Of course, you could always log in and check Aries yourself, but a lot of times I know you get busy, and we want to provide you with an opportunity to just be bombarded with emails all the time from us. We don't want you to forget about us at all.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a dork.
Google Classroom?
Also, we'll have, if you really, really, really want a lot of emails and reports, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so lonely in my house and I wish that my student's teacher would just send me 1,000 emails a day, you could also sign up for Google Classroom's Guardian summaries. So these summaries, you can choose whether you want them daily or weekly. So daily is pretty awesome because you get an email every day from every teacher, and it'll tell you what all of the assignments were yesterday, today, and the ones coming up tomorrow, if they're posted already. It'll tell you if there's any missing assignments in Google Classroom for you. So that's really fun to just get like like 5 emails a day or something, like probably 20. It'd probably be like more like
No, don't listen to my husband. I don't
But
ever.
if you want that, that's totally fine. You can totally get that. We want to be transparent with you. And like Mrs. Kramer was saying earlier, with the Google Suite, you can't always, as a parent, get into the classroom to see what they're doing. So this is a way for you to get into their classroom without actually getting into the classroom. Weekly reports kind of give you a summary of the week, what happens. There's kind of a really tiny picture in the middle there. I can't read that, but that's what the report looks like. And that's all I have to say about this.
Mr. Kramer, they do for Google Classroom, they do consolidate all of their Google Class reports into one email. So if you choose daily emails, if you choose daily emails, you will only get one email daily from Google Classroom for all of the classes. If you choose weekly, it'll be one email daily or weekly for all of the classes. It'll be a combined report. So it's not as crazy, but if you opt in for all of this, it could hypothetically be an email for history, an email for English, an email for science, an email for math from Aries with the report, and then one email for Google Classroom. So it's a lot of information, but it's trying to keep you all in the loop so that we know what the kids are and aren't doing. Okay, where to find assignments, Mrs. Packard?
This is mine?
Oh,
Okay.
I think this one's mine, but we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. We're all using Google Classroom, okay? So your students have to be checking Google Classroom on a daily basis. That's where student work will be assigned. Now, depending on the teacher, they might have other sites that they also use to assign work, like Mr. Kramer's science stuff might also be on another website, but everything, like the home for everything, will be Google Classroom. You can click on the assignments tab. All of your students, if they have been with us before, should know how to see the assignments tab. If they have any questions, they can ask us. And again, the virtual classrooms, the Bitmoji classrooms, that's what we mean by virtual classrooms. It's like the Bitmoji classroom that each teacher has. Those are very easy ways to access or to see what the assignments are, and also to see the websites that each teacher uses. So like as a math teacher, I have specific sites that kids will use regularly that obviously are different from what Mr. Kramer teaching science will use. So yeah, that's where you can find your assignments.
Okay, thank you. All right, when is work due? So work is due Friday. We decided as a team to be as consistent as possible for our students. So work for all classes will be due Friday at 2:45. If a student is unable to meet that deadline, they need to contact their teacher that they can't meet the deadline for and let them know what's going on, what the situation is, and request an extension. And with that extension, I would also say they need to be showing up to the office hours and getting help. If they need to extra time, they also should be accepting extra help. So Friday at 2:45 is the magic number. All right, how to support your students.
The
This is
number one, oh, I think,
sorry, I can't see it.
oh,
I can't see it on my screen, so I'll just
so
speak.
the number one way that you can support your student, the number one way, like if there's anything that you've spaced out, like please listen to this. It's so important that you check your email and that you are getting communication from us, because otherwise this just isn't going to work out. You know, it's really important to be on email. If you have questions, if you have concerns, email us. If your kids have questions, if they have concerns, email us. But we really need you to check your email regularly. Otherwise, kind of this whole situation just won't work out. I would say that what we have written on the slide here is that the number one thing you can do to support them is to just check in with them. And when I say check in, please listen to this, please, 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 please. And I know you all are parents, and at this grade level, you've had these kids for many years, so you know their shenanigans, right? But listen, checking in with your kid is not, did you do your work today, or did you finish your homework? That is not checking in with your kid. That is like almost inviting them to say, yeah, I did it all. A really amazing number one thing that you can do to really truly support them is to sit down with them for 1 minute and have them show you what they turned in or what they actually worked on. That is going to help them tremendously. But I think a lot of you are kind of agreeing. I mean, you all know what I'm talking about, right? If you just say, oh, did you do your homework today? Yes, the answer might truthfully be yes, but I think that in some cases the answer might be no, and they might want to say yes because that means that they're done with school for the day. So the number one thing that you can do is to truly sit down with them, truly have them show you. It shouldn't take a long time, but to truly show you what they worked on that day and make sure that there is some kind of evidence that they really did do their work for that day. And then also encourage them to ask for help if they need it. You know, I think that it's so easy for a lot of us, myself included. If I'm confused about something, or if there's something I don't really understand, but it's the end of the workday and I just want to be done, I might want to just say, yep, I get it all. It's easy for me and I don't have any questions. But it's really important for you as families to encourage your students to reach out to their teacher to ask questions, especially now with distance learning. It's trickier for us to tell if they need help. So please, please, please do those three things. Number one, check your email regularly and communicate with us. Number two, make sure to check in with your student, not just ask them, oh, did you finish your homework? Because they need deeper check-ins than that. And then number three, it's very important to encourage them to reach out for help if they are feeling confused about something. All right.
And then I did want to share, we will share this slide presentation with everyone. And these are links to parent resources, and they're both excellent. And I know there's like information overload, but when you're feeling like you have some bandwidth to look at something, both of these documents are absolutely excellent. This one, the Parent and Student Guide to Google Classroom, literally walks you through step by step by step with images on how to access Google Classroom, what it looks like, what you're going to see from the student perspective. So it's very, very good resource. And then this Caregiver's Guide to Remote Learning it's a tremendous resource. It really is just, it takes the parent perspective and gives some really sound advice on creating schedules, organization, workspace, check-ins, that sort of stuff. And it's really well designed and accessible. And I found them really useful. And I hope that at some point you'll take a look at these as well, just to kind of get these thoughts in your mind. Oh yeah, that's, you know, something to consider. So please do take a look at both of these resources. So PE. PE is still a thing, even in distance learning. We are mandated by the state to do PE, and it's just part of a healthy lifestyle, especially because we are not leaving the house necessarily to go to school. Incorporating activity in our life, taking brain breaks, getting out, getting the blood flowing, it's going to be so good for your students' brain. to be able to think clearly, they need that activity. These kids, when they are here, they are chomping at the bit all day to get out and do PE. When is PE and can I do it again? So they really need that. And as a parent, please encourage them to take that time. We've built it into the day right after lunch. So please do encourage them to take that time and do something physically active. We've created this classroom. It's linked on our homepage. We've created this PE classroom. And each one of these icons links to home drills that they can do for basketball, for football, for tennis, yoga, all for teens at home. So beginning running, baseball drills you can do at home, soccer drills you can do at home, even golf for those of you who might be interested. And then this guy right here is our co-teacher this year. He doesn't know it, but he is. His name is Coach Wood, and he is doing daily videos for middle school students, PE students without equipment. So the first one starts off and he's got 2 rolls of toilet paper and hand sanitizer, and he does all these kinesthetic motions with the toilet paper and the hand sanitizer, which is really timely and hits a little close to home. So yeah, but he's funny, he's hilarious, he's really fun. So if they don't know where to start there with him, and he'll just walk you through some activities to get the blood flowing and a good brain break, and he's hilarious. So this is a link to his channel. It's been approved for us to use. So if you click on it, it'll take you to all the videos. You can pick and choose what looks interesting to you, or you can just take it day by day. He goes day 1, 2, 3, on and on. So students will need to click once a week, this weekly PE log. If they click here, it opens up a Google form. That's where how a lot of the communication is going to happen when we need to collect information from students, and assignments, for my class at least, are going to be done through Google form. This is a very simple Google form that they're going to need to submit every week to get their credit for PE for the week. And it's a weekly PE log. They're going to put their first name and last name. It automatically collects their email address, so if they forget to do that, it's not that big a deal, but it helps us on the grading side. They're going to list their homeroom teacher. And we will tell the kids who their homeroom teacher is, so they know it's just the way it's sorted in Aries. Whether or not they've been completing 30 minutes of exercise at least 4 days a week, and then briefly describe what they did for PE each day of the week. So, Monday if they went for a walk, Tuesday if they did a yoga class, Wednesday if they decided to try one of the Mr. Coach Wood's videos, stretching videos, that they just, so they can keep track of it and put in what they did and submit it. And that's how we'll be grading PE. So that is PE. And then,
yes. Can I add something? So I know right now the weather is crappy and the air quality is really bad. All these exercises can actually be done inside. They're not outdoor activities. If the child chooses to do it outside, of course they can, but not recommended tomorrow to start with the air quality and the heat. So just wanted to add that in there.
So for our MES office, if there's anything you need to do at the office, our office staff asked us to communicate this with you. They will have drop-in hours where the office will be open and staffed for people to come by Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. and then Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 4. There is a survey that you need to complete, and we'll include that link with the information for after this slideshow. If you come on campus, you do need to fill out a health survey. We do it every day as teachers. Every day that we come on campus, we have to fill it out, and it's like, do you have shortness of breath? Have you had a fever? What's your temperature? That sort of thing. And then when you come on campus, it is required that you wear a mask. So crazy times we live in, but that's the walk-in hours and how you can access the office. If, let's say you really want a one-on-one appointment outside, like if I were a high-risk person and really needed to go to the office but didn't want to have the possibility of running into anyone else, you can schedule an appointment outside of those walk-in hours, and they'll definitely make that happen for you as well. But they're definitely staffed during those times. Electives.
Okay, is that mine? I'm gonna do it.
Cool.
So electives. A lot of your students selected electives at the end of last school year. We are actually going to void their electives because we had a shift in, we were going to be including our 6th grade teachers as well, but we had a shift in the teaching, and for the time being, it's just going to be 7th and 8th grade again in electives, and we are going to be offering 4 choices. Mrs. Kramer is going to be doing a visual or a virtual photography type of class. Mr. Kramer is going to be doing a computer science class, and Mr. Trump, you may need to chime in about yours. I know you have a slide later on, but it's a it's kind of like a visual arts theater. Did I get that kind of correct, or no, or not even close? Keith, did I get that correct? Keith's frozen.
Oh, Keith is frozen. I thought he was sitting very still.
Like, that's impressive. No. So it's something like that. So between tomorrow and Monday, we're going to have the 7th and 8th graders reselect their electives. Oh, and then I teach ASB and leadership. Sorry, I forgot to do that one. So the kids will have a choice to reselect those tomorrow. But they're going to be held every day from 1:05 to 1:25. And then, like Mrs. Kramer had mentioned earlier, one day a week, Mrs. Welcome's going to be coming in, and she's going to be teaching social emotional learning class for that 20-minute block. And then all elective work is going to be independent. So your teacher may have them, you know, fill out a Google form or do some type of visual presentation or activity, watch a video, tell me what you learned. Maybe Mrs. Kramer's students have to practice their photography skills and send her an example of what they took a picture of based on that specific skill that week. So, so that's just kind of our electives in a nutshell. We will not, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe we're going to be meeting for electives on Mondays. Is that correct? Because it's the still early release. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And for electives, your teacher will communicate with students what live days they need to be there, but it'll vary depending on the week or the teacher. So that'll be communicated directly once the students are in electives. And Keith, are you back with us?
I am. So Mrs. Trump originally was going to teach a visual arts elective, which was drawing, painting, sculpture, and things like that. But because we are not, we're not in, 6th grade is not included on these elective schedules due to distance learning. I'm kind of taking that on as well. So my elective is going to be visual arts, which is drawing, mainly drawing and maybe some painting, but then also we're going to be looking at things that are related to music, primarily singing like choir, and some theater things too. So it's kind of going to be a mix of different stuff, sort of fine arts. Yeah.
And one more thing, yes, band is continuing. Sorry, I did not mention that one. We just got an email this afternoon from the band teacher, so we'll be forwarding that to the band students tomorrow about what her wishes are.
Okay. Mr. Trump?
Okay, great. And actually, this is the last slide in the presentation, and then I think we're going to take some questions. But yeah, so I am going to do virtual choir as an option to any 7th or 8th grade student, not just in my elective, but any 7th or 8th grade student who is interested. The way virtual choir will work is basically your student, I have tutorial videos and things like that that they'll check out. But basically they will record themselves singing a part that they think would work best for their voice. They will upload it onto a website that's sort of like Google Docs. It's collaborative, but it's for music. and then I will put all of their files together, and it'll be like a giant choir file with a bunch of different kids' voices. I'm also going to be including the high school students who are in my high school choir, because I'm the high school choir director. So that should be a really neat opportunity. Anyone who is interested in 7th or 8th grade virtual choir, or I'm sorry, just in the virtual choir, should send me an email. Those students should send me an email, and I can get them enrolled in the Google Classroom and can give them the code so they can start doing recording. This is a really low time commitment. It's not like regular choir where you have to go to rehearsals in person for like, you know, a few hours a week. This is literally just them doing this on their own time. And honestly, it should take them about 30 minutes or less every 2 weeks. So it's a really neat opportunity. It doesn't come along very often, and I highly, I'm promoting it. So sorry for my commercial on virtual choir, but I'm all done now.
Okay, so that wraps up our presentation, and we'll be looking through the chat right now for questions. And if anyone has a question that they would like to pose to us, now's the time. For snow days, that's the first one I'm seeing. My understanding is snow days are still scheduled, and snow days have like a broader definition now to include like they're like emergency use days, to include days like brownout days. Like, so if we had a day where we lost power, that would be under that snow day umbrella. And as we can see, this might come up, you know, snow day might not happen, but a brownout day might. So that gives the school district a little bit more flexibility in terms of using those days for whether school is on or off. Does that answer that? Okay.
And then the $20, I don't see why you couldn't mail it in, Naoko, for the Chromebook insurance. I did inquire the other day if they could try to work on getting a digital version of somehow maybe paying over the internet. And I am still waiting to hear back on that. And if we do hear, we will definitely send parents an email and letting them know that that's an option. But I don't see why you couldn't just mail it into Sharon or Glenda.
And if it becomes prohibitive to do that, mailing it in, you can Venmo me. I'll take care of it. Like, we can figure out a way to PayPal it and get the money. I'd rather have you pay that $20, because I tell you, these middle schoolers are tough on their Chromebooks, and this is their lifeline. Like, they need that Chromebook. It will be their tool, their number one tool to use for distance learning. So if they accidentally sit on it and it breaks, which, what's that? Who would do that? Middle schoolers would do that every year. So if you don't pay the $20, you might end up paying $300. And if it doesn't fit in your budget, reach out to us and let us know, because I don't want any of our students going without Chromebooks. And I see it every year, every single year. Parents decline the insurance and end up getting hit with a huge bill when the Chromebook breaks. We go through tons of Chromebooks every year. They are hard on those machines. So please, please, scrape together the $20 or contact us if you can't. If it's prohibitive, let us know, because they need that, and you need that insurance so that you don't get stuck with the bill in the end.
And Danielle, I see, do bikes count for P? I say absolutely. That is great exercise. And I think we, on the PE form, I believe we put other, where you can fill out what else you've done. So just think any type of exercise is going to probably count towards your PE.
Biking, hiking, swimming.
Yeah, all of those things. Any physical activity that you're doing. And how will students be graded within this distance learning platform? I believe that each teacher will be going over that with their students tomorrow. I think we're kind of on the same page as far as grading. I don't know what your guys' looks like, but I'm assuming if we go with years past, we're all very similar with our grading.
Yeah, I think that a really big thing with grading this year, though, is that grading is not going to work like at the end of last year, where it was really participation based. we are really grading like real in-person school. So it's very important that your students stay on top of their work and really try to put in their best effort and not just the bare minimum. So again, grading is like very much, you know, we're going to try to make it as close as possible to what our regular in-class grading situations would be.
Thank you, Keith. That's Mr. Trump. That's what I was going to add on, is that we're going to be grading assessments. We're going to be grading classwork, things that we do together. Assignments will be going in the grade book every day to show that that student was present and working. And there will be quizzes where we lock down their Chromebook and they do assessments online. We use that program called Go Guardian that allows us control of their screen, and also within Google Forms we can lock them onto a certain web page, so we kind of have a double secure. But you know, we will be coming up with also creative ways to assess students, because yeah, you can lock their screen, but they're still going to have this in their hands. So we will be coming up with creative ways to assess students to make sure it's as authentic as we can possibly be in this distance learning environment. So it's all new. And we're going to beg your forgiveness as we work out the kinks of how assessment and grading will look given our new distance learning parameters, because as Mr. Trump was saying, in the spring, it was basically just like, oh, you showed up, okay, you're getting credit. And that's not how it's going to be. We really do need to start assessing these kids and figuring out, because what assessment is trying to figure out where the kids are at, where they need further instruction, where they need scaffolding is what teachers call it. That's the teacher word. Where they need further help, what we need to review so that we can help them get to where we want them to be. And for these kids, they're going on to high school. So we need to get them prepared. We need those tools in their tool belt. And so that's why we're assessing them. It's not to punish them like, oh, make sure they're working. It's really to figure out what they know so that we can help them know more.
And then I see the whole email that went out to, there was an email that went out to students today through Aries.
Yeah, it looks like this. I don't know. Oh, that's not going to show up. I'm showing it on my screen right now. Yeah, but go ahead, Ms. Packard.
No, I was just going to say that the most important thing that the kids need to know right now to get onto their classes tomorrow is their Zoom link. A lot of the teachers, some teachers, I already gave my Google Classroom code out to all my 7th graders, but the other 3 teachers have not yet done that, and they will plan on doing that tomorrow. But they just need to know the Zoom link for their meeting for tomorrow morning's classes.
And if your student is in 7th grade, the first class that they are going to go to is Mr. Kramer for science at 8:30. And if they are in 8th grade, the first class that they're going to go to is Mr. Trump for math at 8:30. So Mr. Trump did email today to all students and parents the links to those classes so that students can access the Zoom link for that first class.
Yeah, and I just put those in the chat right now. So if you guys have no idea what we're talking about, it's because you didn't see the Aries email. So I just put the 7th grade link. That link is for 7th graders. It'll open up the schedule. They click on the live red buttons. That'll take them to the classes that they have to be at tomorrow morning. And then if you're in 8th grade, copy and paste that link into the address bar. That will take you. These are the same links that were in that Aries email.
So please take a look at the chat for those links. Mr. Kramer, will you also link this presentation? Can you include the link to this presentation in the chat?
Mr. Kramer has left the building.
Oh, we're all parents too, and he's home with the girls. So Mr. Kramer is probably dealing with the 2-year-old or the 4-year-old. So
Just shake your head, Josh.
I'm totally here. I'm totally here. What do you need?
I was assigning work to you. I was asking you to share the link to
I did that already.
Okay.
Just so parents know, if you log into Aries, on my class, I have the web page linked to my website, so that way you can get to it. And then also personally, like my Zoom is on the area site too.
Yeah, and then Kim, just to answer your question about Chromebook insurance, it's $20. It's pretty much what the district requires if you want coverage for your Chromebook if anything happens to it. Better to pay $20 to cover the whole year rather than one incident that happens and the kid breaks the Chromebook and ends up costing $300 or $400. Hi, Cassidy. So that was kind of what we were talking about. As of right now, I think that it would be best if you guys just mailed it in, you know, obviously include your name, your student's name, and the money into the office, or you can drop by the office by one of the drop-off times that were mentioned earlier in the presentation. And then I had one more question via text about if PG&E shuts off the power and your student can't attend a class because there's no power, will it be held against them? Absolutely not. That's something that's completely out of their hands. It would be great if they could text a teacher or try to email them. Most of my 7th graders from last year have my cell phone. So if they don't have their new teacher's phone, they can always text me and then I can get the information to the 8th grade teachers. That's fine as well with me, so.
Okay, and I'm just looking at classroom links. Okay, we did that.
Did we post that Bitmoji masterclass where like all the links are? Did we already post that? I'm sorry, I don't know if I see that.
It should be the very first page, right?
Yeah, but it's linked. Yeah, the first page of the presentation is the Bitmoji Masterclass, but the website itself, I will, let me see if I can, here, I'm gonna stop screen sharing. Give me a second, I could do this. Okay.
William, to answer your question, there's going to be a PE virtual classroom in which you will document your PE activities, and we will go over that with you over the next couple days when you're in our class.
Lori, as far as I know, yes, the Zoom links should be the same, so they should be able to just click on those red live buttons, and that should take them to class every day. And if that changes for whatever reason, we'll be sure to let the students know that those links won't work anymore, but they should work.
And I'm gonna paste into chat the link to the website. So this is the master website, which links to each of our Bitmoji classrooms.
What do you have there? Oh, you got it, Naoko? Perfect.
All right. I'm hoping that we were answering all of the questions.
I don't know who iPhone is, but yes, we did discuss PE already. And we'll go in depth about PE with your students one-on-one tomorrow in our individual classes or our homeroom class.
And Keisha had asked about why we're doing PE when we did it, when we scheduled it. We chose that time for PE just to kind of give a longer lunch window, honestly. So kids can wake up early if they want, but we really wanted to get their academic classes done all before lunch, and that had to be the priority. So yeah, it is unfortunate timing. We do try normally when we're in school, we have PE early, right after brunch, but with this distance learning environment, we really had to get those academic classes scheduled earlier in the day to condense the live times as close as possible. So that's why we had to make PE a little later. But kids can do PE whenever they want. They can wait until 6 or 7 p.m. when it's a little cooler and do their workout then. That's totally fine.
And Shelly, that's kind of going to be based on each individual teacher. It's best if we do have the camera on to make sure the student is engaged in our 20-minute session. There may be times where the teacher is going to be you know, requiring them to turn them off for various reasons. But I think most of the time that for that 20-minute session, they're going to be required to have their cameras on. They don't have to talk because they could respond via chat, but it would be great, I think, in my opinion, to have the cameras on so we know that the student's actually there.
So please just have a quick chat with your students about what's an appropriate like background, or maybe don't walk through the house during class because you might not know they have their camera on, and you turn around and they have their camera on and the whole class is looking at you. So maybe just have a quick chat with them about, like, you know, when your webcam is on, you need to be aware of what's going on behind you and all that. So.
Good call. I saw a question about signing up for GoGuardian. GoGuardian is something that we will get the kids enrolled in, so you don't need to sign up for it. And parents attending class, if you needed to, parents are always welcome to attend class and schedule an appointment to attend class. So when we're in person, that happens sometimes where a parent is like, listen, I need to get a handle on my kid. I want to be there and see how they're acting at school, what's going on there, and they go to class with them. And we encourage that because, you know, it's amazing how different they might act or how much potential we see when they're in with, you know, their parent. And so I would say, though, for regular day-to-day classes, let the kids do their thing, because we want to make it as close to school feeling as normally sitting next to them during class. We want to give them those independent work skills that they need in preparation for high school. So that is, we really don't want you sitting there holding their hand. You don't have to be. These are middle school students. You have other things to focus on, live your lives. If you want to be, okay, that's a different scenario. If you need to be because they're not doing their work, that's a different scenario, but you don't have to be with them. If you need to meet with us, just send us an email, give us a call, and we can schedule a Zoom with you. Shelly asked about logging in on personal computers, personal devices. We need all students to use their school-issued device. And that is because of firewalls and being able to utilize the GoGuardian to make sure that students are where they need to be, and to give us that chance to supervise them for you so you don't have to. So we can help supervise their activity online with GoGuardian. So they do need to be on the school issued device.
That's right. And I think I said the opposite of that, so I apologize. Ms. Kramer is right. You do need to use the school Chromebook. My bad.
If it's a day like something happened to the Chromebook and they need to log it in on something else and it's like a one-off, that's fine. Just let us know that they're not going to be, so we're not looking for them on GoGuardian or marking them absent. Ultimately, we may be using GoGuardian as our video software, and GoGuardian is as simple as pushing a button. It says your teacher wants to call, and it forces the call onto your student's Chromebook, and they just hit the green accept, so they don't have to click any links. There's no, it's all self-contained. So we may end up using that, but it's kind of in pilot mode right now. So we're starting with Zoom, but we may ultimately go to GoGuardian, and that's another reason why they need their student device. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. Do you guys see questions at the bottom that have been added? It's a lot to scroll through. Riding a horse counts for PE, yes. Absolutely. Equestrian sports is an Olympic event. We absolutely count it. The Chromebook, if your Chromebook is not working, you need to contact the office to trade it out for a different device if you're having difficulties with the Chromebook that was school issued.
Kimberly, you said a link is broken. Which link are you talking about? The one to the classroom website, or one of the links for their?
Huh.
Okay.
The one that you shared with the Bitmoji classroom, it doesn't work.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay. Okay.
We'll
good
look
deal.
into that. Okay. Let's try, Kimberly, would you mind trying it again?
Do you mind if I chime in about something a little off from the links right now? This might help parents. I know we didn't really mention this earlier. In the past, your 8th grade students, probably it'll be new to 7th graders, but they're used to having a homeroom teacher and then shifting throughout the teachers all throughout the day. So we had different blocks. This year, the way it looks on the schedule is we combined all the 7th graders and all the 8th graders to condense it, and only for like all of us teachers to just teach one lesson to all 7th graders at one time, all lessons to 8th graders at one time. So it may seem a little different, and Aries has it listed as like a normal schedule, and they have that in case we return to normal instruction in the classroom. I hope that makes sense, but it kind of looks a little different than it usually does.
Okay. All right, sorry about that classroom website not working. I did try republishing it, and I don't know what's going on. I think it works within the institution. It's not working outside. I'm not sure. So we will take a look at that and get that working up and running as soon as possible. Brenda, sleeping does not count for PE. That was my teacher look. But if you run around the block 10 times before you sleep, then that counts. Okay. Any other questions for us before we sign off? We know it's dinner time and we don't want to hold you any longer than we already have. We just want to say thank you so much for being here, being present, supporting your kids. We know this is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. I would not want to do this with any other team than the teachers I am teaching with this year. I feel so blessed with our middle school teaching team and the kids that we have. We have some amazing students, and I know together we can make this an awesome year. It's not going to be perfect. 2020 will be one for the records, that's sure. But we're going to make the most of it. And I'm really excited to get started and get back to teaching. So hopefully your students are excited about getting back to learning. And I can hear them all groaning in the background.
And Lori, I know you asked this question twice and I think we skipped over it. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing this. Yes, we will be available sorry, I'm trying to find your question. It was if we were available during independent work for the students after our lives. Yes, I'm staying on for as long as I have students in my classroom. They can actually work. I can mute my mic, they can mute theirs, and if they want to work on their independent work during that time where I'm available, they can. I'll also be reading short stories and our class novel at the same time, and I know Mrs. Kramer's going to be doing the same thing. But we are I'm definitely staying on, and I know she is, and I'm sure the guys are as well.
Yeah, so we will be on during our class period for as long as the kids need us. So I'm going to structure my class. Kids are going to come in as they come in and get started on their grammar bell ringer. We're going to review it together. We're going to go over the work for the day. And those who are good to go and don't need further support are done, and they can sign off and get to work independently. But those who want to work with me closely, who want me to read the class novel to them, or who want me to read the history to them, will stay on and work with me as I read to them while they read along. We will give as much support as kids need, but we're not going to penalize those and keep those kids online who don't need it. If they feel good and they're doing the work, they can sign off and work independently. That's up to them. Ramona, did the website work for you?
Yeah, she said it worked.
So I'm just wondering though, if it's because I just don't know why it's not working for people outside.
Ramona, did you get on your phone or
So
from
I'm actually, can you
computer?
guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I have my camera off. It's that time of night. But anyway, what I did is I'm actually on my iPhone. So I just copied the link that you guys shared and I pasted it into my iPhone notes. And then I selected it and opened it, and it opened great. And I was even able to click on the doors you showed and go into the various teacher classrooms. Obviously, it would be a better version, you know, and a bigger screen on a computer. But maybe copying, pasting the link if you're on your computer for other parents, that might help. But it opened just fine doing it that way.
Okay, so hopefully it will work if we outside of this chat window. And yes, it will be shared. We'll email you the link. All of this information is going to be emailed.
Thank you, Christy. Christy says the website's working fine. Parents just need to log into their kids' account, just like we had kind of mentioned a little bit in the beginning. So
Okay.
thank you for clarifying that, Christy.
And thank you so much, Ramona, for checking that. Okay, so we will email the link for everyone, and hopefully that will work later. I'm not seeing any other new questions. Any other questions? We're going to review with the kids all of this and much more. So know that a lot of information is coming, but most of all, we're here for you. We want your student to be successful. We want your student to have a great year, and we're here to do everything we can to make that happen.
Thanks, Nikki. She said it's fine with our MCUSD login. So thanks, guys.
All right. The first Zoom meeting, William, is tomorrow at 8:30. So get a good night's rest, eat some breakfast, and we'll see you at 8:30 a.m. Books, no books to pick up this year. Everything is online.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so very much. From a parent's perspective, this was a great meeting. Really appreciate all the information. I know where to go if I have more questions, and I just wanted to say thank you so much.
And we're here for you guys. We're all in this together.
Yes, we are. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Okay.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a great night. We'll see you
tomorrow,
tomorrow. We can't wait to see you all. Bye, Kayla.
If you don't have internet, you need to contact the office, please. If you don't have internet, you need to contact the office.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting for everyone. Thank you all for being here.